Former President or Botswana President Mokgweetsi Masisi will officially hand over the reins to Duma Boko today. Meanwhile, it's the final hours of the US presidential election campaign. And for more on these international stories, let's speak to SABC News international editor Sophie Mokoena. Sophie, we saw the swearing in of the new Botswanan president on Friday. Perhaps the next step now, what's going to happen?
I think that is why it is important to note that Mokgweetsi Masisi is now the former president of Botswana, and the current president, newly elected Duma Boko, is the president of Botswana, because that swearing in happened on Friday night. And yesterday there were lots of meetings with different stakeholders in government, including the security cluster. And today we expect any minute from now for the former president of Botswana, Mokgweetsi Masisi, to hand over the office to President Duma Boko, because he is now taking over. This is his first day in office today. And therefore today it's just the formalities of handing over the office, introducing him perhaps to people who are in the office, because as you know that much as there's a political change in terms of administration, public service, or the technocrats, they are still there to continue to do the work, and until such time when the new president can decide perhaps to make changes here and there. But it is quite an important day, first day of Duma Boko in office as the president of Botswana.
Yeah, indeed, and a big moment there for that country after such a long term in leadership for Botswana's Masisi, the former president there. Let's turn to America now, because, I mean, this has been a record-breaking year when it's come to elections around the world. I mean, we tend to forget that we also held elections here in South Africa, but the next country our eyes are on, we moved from Botswana, now we look at America, because we literally are just hours away from Americans going to the polls to decide. Perhaps you want to weigh in on this for a little bit. Talk to us, that final countdown, the latest polling, what is it saying?
Well, you are correct. We just read the Mozambique elections, even though there's still tension, and we are about to read Botswana. Now we have started with the US. In fact, we started some time ago, because covering elections, we don't start on the day of elections or few days of the elections. We started early with all different elections in the world, including Russia that was done, including other areas, of course, the team in South Africa dealing with South African elections. US quite important because it's the largest economy in the world. And of course, whatever happens in the United States of America will have impact to many countries. South Africa with lots of trade agreements with the US, who can forget the AGOA, PEPFAR in terms of health, and generally the investment in South Africa. We know that we have many American companies in South Africa, and therefore they will also be watching to see who is coming in and what does that mean. Whether it will be Donald Trump, we know no much interest on the continent, but he has never done anything that was negative in terms of practical pulling out or stopping any program. Kamala Harris, very new Democrats. The Democrats often, they are good at talking and nice friends to have in terms of dinner table, but implementation not much. And that's exactly what happened during the previous elections, particularly when you look at Barack Obama. Yes, he visited Africa, he visited South Africa, he visited Kenya, but not much. And when you talk about Joe Biden, yes, a nice friend to have. He supported AGOA to continue. He didn't cut PEPFAR, but not much. But at least there was that cordial relationship, even though at some point in time it got frosty because of the war in Ukraine and the current situation in the Middle East. So those will be issues to watch. But generally, what we must know is that any president of the of America will always put America first. Yes, there may be different language and approach and tone, but it will always be about America first. That is why they are really focusing on the issues in America: migration, reproductive rights, the economy, and the middle class, including those people who are aggrieved in terms of the justice and democracy in that country. Those are ordinary people's issues. Of course, the issue of Ukraine, the issue of Middle East, they do touch on that. But they are firmly focused on issues in America, particularly at this time, where Americans are really, really worried in terms of where to from here in terms of the next move for the country.
All right, Sophie Mokoena, interesting week the world is in for as Americans go to the polls, and that race between Harris and Trump finally reaches a head, and we'll see exactly what goes down. Thanks so much for weighing in on that conversation.